right, what is up, guys? Welcome to the transparency. Karen Reed and her ErrandBoy lose the anti-slap motion. The McAlberts sweep it 2-0. Well, you know, I wanted to chuckle, so let's see how many times the word fail shows up in this motion. Again, if yesterday wasn't the biggest kick in the dick, or the day before, whatever day it was, Gretchen Voss basically, I don't know, reading my mind since March of 2026, been putting it all out there, this exact timeline of what Aiden Kearney has truly done in this case. But, wow. So, it's no surprise here, Jennifer McCabe and others, 2-0. The anti-slap denied. Anti-slap denied. Happy anniversary, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Again, last minute decision to even cover this. I got a lot of things going on, but I think it's important to note these big L's here. So this is going to continue right here. For the following reasons, these motions are denied. We don't even have to go any further, but we will. Because I think there is plenty to say in the fact that these are not petitioning acts. These are not petitioning acts. So it's going to be interesting when we're talking about his criminal case and he thinks he's over there doing fucking lives after lives, like losing his mind. And all he can say now is petitioning. I'm petitioning. I'm petitioning. You sound fabulous. Thank you. I think I got it fixed. So just to hear him continue to say, like, I'm petitioning. Well, that got denied, so I bet you he never fucking even says that word again. He's basically going to lose that petitioning. But in this discussion, you must establish a procedure for obtaining the early dismissal of a claim that seeks to impose liability on individuals for exercising their constitutional right of petition. So again, we are granted this constitutional right, and it doesn't go any further than they cannot meet the threshold. And I am going to actually start on page 3. And I want to remind everybody that petitioning activity under 59H includes, right there you can see everything. And I know that Aiden Kearney has been out and about talking about these points. But the courts concluded that neither defendant has made the threshold showing under the statute. So Aiden Kearney here, his initial burden, the plaintiffs assert claims against Kearney for defamation, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, civil conspiracy. And I think that civil conspiracy, knock off the word civil, and I do believe there was a conspiracy here. Aiden Kearney's a fucking moron. If you could not see that what she was providing you with back then was not the whole picture, you're an idiot. As explained below, Aiden Kearney, or Adam, has failed. I mean, we should just highlight every time it says the word failed. I think we should do that, so we will. Has failed, there we go, to satisfy his initial burden for 2 reasons. First, the claims have a substantial basis other than petitioning activity. For fuck's sake, cheers. Fail. This motherfucker fails at everything. He thinks he wins, though. First, again, that claim, it has to have substantial basis other than petitioning activity. Second, even if these were not the case, the FAC alleges that he was not engaging in petitioning activity on his own behalf, but rather on the behalf of Reed. I'm telling you, if Aiden Kearney gets the opportunity, he is going to flip on a dime, baby. I just don't think he's going to get the opportunity. Other substantial basis, Aiden Kearney argues that the plaintiff's claims seek to hold him liable for petitioning activity because his statements fall under the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th clauses. However, he has failed to establish that this is the case. All the money, you know how much money he spent on this? He's saying close to 6 figures gone. Close to 6 figures. Gone. What's up, Murky? You like this? You can hear me now? Idiot. So, it's 2 fails. If I miss a fail, let me know. Now, going to the defamation claim. The defamation claim is primarily based on Aidan Carney's, or Adam, his repeated statements accusing the plaintiffs of murdering John O'Keefe and covering it up. Kearney first argues that by publicly accusing the plaintiffs of murder, his statements were reasonably likely to encourage consideration or review of O'Keefe's death by an executive body. However, all of the various places Kearney made these statements, on his live stream, social media platforms, his blog, on plaintiffs' voicemails, at the plaintiffs' homes, and in the case of McCabe, at her daughter's lacrosse game, none were to an executive body as part of a judicial or other proceeding, or to any authority that could affect consideration of the issue. Kearney cites no case law, suggesting that statements to other members of the public accusing someone of murder qualify under this clause of the Anti-Slapp statute. Such statements lack the supplication to higher authority, characteristic of petitioning activity under this clause. Yeah. I mean, when just some things are just like embarrassing? This is pretty embarrassing. Aidan Kearney next argues his statements are petition activity because they were made in connection with an issue under consideration or review by a legislative, executive, or judicial body, namely the investigation into O'Keefe's death and the prosecution of Karen Reed. Now, the SJC has stated that for statements to qualify under this clause of the Anti-Slapp statute, there must be a plausible nexus between the statement and the governmental proceeding. I'm sorry, but as soon as he found out that the Google search was they knew it wasn't, there was no Google search at 227. Why, Leanna? Why do you say that? Because the FBI told them. The FBI was telling them everything. They knew. Let's not forget, guys, that the FBI has done absolutely fucking nothing. 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 And that is closed. It was all fucking smoke and mirrors in your face. And anybody who still strokes their own dick to it is a fucking idiot. All these lawyers out here strokey. Fucking. After you read Gretchen Voss's beautifully written piece, if you can seriously say to yourself, there's nothing to see here about that, then you are so fucking warped. So warped. Literally, I would say at least 90, if not more, of everything that Gretchen Voss put out, that was everything that I April, May heavily. And the 5 to 10% that I did not put out is way worse than the shit that I did put out. And that's because of the personal connections that she was able to make in this case. And they disclosed some really, really personal stuff. And to think that Jennifer McCabe's kids have had to seek, help for attempting to take their own life, that is fucking unbelievable. And when the jury gets a hold of that, yeah. It's over. It is motherfucking over. Over. Disturbing. To assess if the plausible nexus exists, the SJC analyzes objective indicia of a party's intent to influence a governmental proceeding, such as the timing, the audience, and content of the statement. The communications must be closely and rationally related to the governmental proceedings. These are all court cases that he's citing. And made to influence, inform, or at least at the very least reach the governmental bodies, either directly or indirectly. Although some of Aidan Kearney's statements at least tangentially relate to an issue that was under judicial review, which was the prosecution of Karen Read. The claims largely target statements that do not have a plausible nexus to this prosecution. The statements are directed toward viewers and potential viewers, exactly, of Aidan Kearney's live streams and readers of his blog, and content does not seek to action in any way. So again, he's citing posts not directed to the government and that did not mention any government proceeding, but rather consisted of throwing barbs, yes. And this is everything for me. At another was not petitioning activity. Rather, the statements are aimed at convincing Kearney's audience to regard and treat the plaintiffs as murderers. Oh my God. Woo-wee. Now, I will say this. Social media has changed, and people use social media, like even people that obviously in the world of the government and politics and shit like that, and you can like use the @ symbol and yada yada yada. So I do think that social media, did he even start a petition where to like get so many people to sign it and take it? You know what I mean? And also didn't, I think it would require Aidan Kearney to admit to some stuff that he cannot admit to. Didn't Karen Read petition the government, more or less, when her entire defense team took the case to the fucking feds? You took it to the feds, right? And you took it to the feds before you ever talked to Aidan Kearney. So think about that. And then why the fuck would you tell Aidan Kearney about taking it to the feds, which is secrecy, right? And you have to be an absolute fucking moron to not know why. We know why, Steve. I'm just not here for it, Benzo. Not today. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm just not in the mood. It's Friday night. Do you think at all, like think about it, what if somebody knew that that you're not going to be able to find anything, but the feds are never going to be able to find anything because of something, and that something is that they didn't do it, and you know that they didn't do it? Because I'm telling you, with the feds intervening and being involved, right? They got these people's phone records. They got these people's text messages. They got Proctor's shit, okay? And basically what ends up getting revealed out of this whole thing is that Sean Good and Proctor need to not have a badge, okay? But you don't think that of all the things that they would have gone through and the capabilities of the federal government, you don't think that they would have taken this shit down? I do. Yes, Nurse Holly, it was very annoying for me. I had to scream before. So, maybe when you know that there's going to be nothing to find, that's why you employed and got in touch with Aidan Kearney so soon. Because it was like, when did the government start like doing something, more or less, right? The feds. You didn't even give them any time to work. Well, so I've thought about that. I've thought about that. I could see if the feds did whatever and they came back and they're like, there's just nothing there, you know? And then you're like, what? You guys are fucking gonna cover up for them now too? Like, you guys are fucking not gonna out, these corrupt bastards? Well, look at what's happening right now. This was a political stunt for these people that could try to, It's obvious. It's obvious. It's so obvious what happened here. And I mean, so obvious if you truly want to know the truth and you want to actually look at it objectively, it's really, really obvious. But I don't know why anybody would go and tell secrets about what's going on with the federal government and your connections to them as soon as meeting someone like an Aiden motherfucking Carney. Like, are you kidding me? He's a fucking joke. He's an absolute joke. And he was a bigger joke back when Reed would have ever first, do you want to know what he was producing on his channel at the time that them supposedly just talking? Did you guys ever wonder why he did not continue to go at Rachel Rollins? Because that's Yannetti's girl. But go and take a look at when that truly started. Anyways, it's just... I was right. Been right about the whole thing. Tomorrow night we'll be talking about that. I'll give a little sneak peek, but Gretchen Voss literally takes his ass and just fucking starts stuffing it. Put whatever the fuck you want in it. Motherfucker is cooked. He's done. And I think Karen Reed needs to be really careful here because I think she's going to get charged. I think they're playing their cards right. And I think that the only prayer, I don't even know if they're going to give it to, Aiden here, is that the only prayer they would have, and that Aiden would have a plea deal, is if you're going to give up Karen Reed and her defense team. That's the only way you're getting a plea deal. And that's even if they want to do that. I just don't even think that they need to. I think that they have this man by the fucking absolute balls. And he can keep telling himself whatever the fuck he wants, and his little pony show can keep on telling themselves whatever they want. The only way that he does not get convicted is if there is... no joke, some serious fucking crazy shit going on. You got to buy that jury. He thinks that he's like, I was a teacher. I'm going to teach the jury. I'm going to talk to the jury like I taught 11th graders history. He's wild. Right here, rather, the statements are aimed at convincing Aiden Carney's audience to regard and treat the plaintiffs as murderers. Yep. And that's all that Karen Reed wanted him to do, is she fed him everything that was to go at these. We need to create somebody else. We need to create this third-party culpability. Okay? And that's what Aiden Carney tried to create for her, was a third-party culpability defense. So, Jennifer McCabe and Brian Albert are involved. They are covering it up. The McCabes have the look of evil in them when you see them in person. These are people with no shame and aren't the least bit deterred by the fact that millions of people know they participated in a murder and subsequent cover-up of a murder of a Boston police officer. Yeah, and you know what the jury's gonna know? Is that you, Aiden Carney, fucked with a trial of a Boston cop. And everything gets doubled. It's murder, and it enhances because it's murder. It's not just 10 years, up to 10 years per 20. Absolute fucking idiot. Jen and Matt McCabe do not deserve to live a normal life and pretend that they weren't involved in murdering a Boston police officer. Such statements are markedly different than those that the courts have concluded are made in connection with the proceeding under judicial or executive review. What? Unbelievable. The FAC also cites allegedly defamatory statements Kearney made after the second trial had ended and therefore not connected to any judicial review. And quotes that Kearney's statements concern a topic that has attracted government attention in itself does not give them the character contemplated by the statute. Finally, Aiden Carney relies heavily on his argument that his statements were reasonably likely to enlist public participation. Nobody is going. Do you guys see what has happened? Nobody goes to his shit. Nobody is publicly participating in anything. Nobody is supporting him. Nowhere near like what happened with Karen Reed. But reasonably likely to enlist public participation in an effort to effect consideration by an executive or judicial body. In his motion, he cites multiple instances where he both encouraged people to demand answers from the Massachusetts State Police and the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, and encouraged his audience to engage in standouts and to gather at the courthouse in protest of the prosecution. While the court agrees with Carney that such conduct constitutes petitioning. Absolutely. His argument that the statements cited in the FAC are related to this conduct and therefore should be viewed similarly is without merit. It's because he's a fucking liar and the judge is seeing all through this shit. Fact that the defendant's initial post constituted petition activity did not then throw an anti-slap protective blanket over every post that followed. And right here is where I said, motherfucking boom, this is why he is FUCK'd, and he's FUCK'd the whole way through. This is just the first of every single L that this motherfucker is about to take. So, and Karen Reed in this capacity as well. I mean, these two are going to lose their asses in this lawsuit. That's just my take. The defamation claim is not aimed at the specific instances that Aidan Carney cites in his motion. Exactly, because you're staying away from everything that, hey, look over here, not over there. Rather, the claim encompasses statements that are far removed from any call to the public to appeal to the government. Namely, the many instances where Carney accused the plaintiffs of murdering O'Keefe and covering up their crime by addressing them directly at their homes via his live stream, or in the case of McCabe or Daughters Lacrosse game. In those statements, Carney neither explicitly nor implicitly calls on his audience to employ anything to a government body. To be sure, the FAC cites many statements that were reasonably likely to enlist Carney's audience to share his opinion and to make that opinion known to the plaintiffs and other members of the public. Citing Carney's statements that he has nothing but hatred, nothing but hatred to Plaintiff McCabe, nothing but hatred to, as I should because I'm normal. I'm normal. He's the one with the I'm normal shit. I'm normal. My name's Aidan Carney and I'm normal. Hold on, let me take a sip. Fuck out of here. My name's Aidan Carney and I'm normal. He's the one that started his own fucking chant there at the, I'm just a normal mom. Man, shut the fuck up. Okay? You're just a normal degenerate. Oh, Aidan Carney, cheers. I'm normal. My name is Aidan. I'm a rational person. Yeah, because what you did was so fucking rational. Any rational person hates Jennifer McCabe. The fuck? And is disgusted by her because Jennifer McCabe is a pig. She's a pig. She's a cop-killing pig. Oh my god, he is so fucked. Yeah, sure, buddy. Yep, I'm normal. Dude, the level of embarrassment. If his kids were just a tad bit older, whew, they're still kind of young. But holy shit. You probably didn't get any notifications because I decided last minute to do this. Cheers, Aidan. Cheers, Aidan. You're going to be drinking nothing but moonshine in fucking prison. Get yourself some twisted tea while you can. What a moron. I'm a rational person. I'm normal. Responding to claim by McCabe's friend that she was harassed by Aidan Carney supporter in public, Aidan Carney stated, the fact that Jennifer McCabe has to cover her face in public like this because everywhere she goes, people immediately see her face and recognize her as a cop killer is a great thing. Oh my God. Oh my God, they are so fucked. God. The people that are backing him still just are fucking crazy. I'm sorry, but just... For instance, Aidan Kearney does not explain how his enlistment of 200 individuals to participate in a rolling rally to go at the plaintiffs' homes while he shouted into a bullhorn that Brian Albert and McCabe were covering up John O'Keefe's murder was reasonably likely to enlist public participation in an effort to effect consideration. Nor does he address how going to McCabe's daughter's lacrosse game and calling her a cop killer was likely to do so. Whew. Simply filming his... This is great. Although neighbors' opposition to home... Oh, that was something about something else. Simply filming his actions and posting them later does not bring such conduct under the protections of the Anti-Slapp statute. Fucking A. Nope, but it will get you a fucking fatty conviction because you're, I don't know, recording yourself. Dumb. Alleging Kearney addressed his audience members who had not confronted the plaintiff, stating, "They're right fucking there walking around like nothing happened. What are you going to do about it, huh? You going to ask them anything? You going to talk to them? You're not in this for being uncomfortable or making, people who committed horrific crimes uncomfortable. However, for such statements to be protected petitioning activity, they must be reasonably likely to enlist public participation in an effort to effect, i.e. bring about governmental consideration of an issue." Ooh. The statements that are the subject of the defamation claim clearly are not. Aiden, what are you thinking? Oh shit. Nothing like fucking gets your dick just kicked in. They just planted his dick in the dirt, like whoop. My goodness. Now other claims here. Kearney's motion as to the plaintiff's other claims for intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, civil conspiracy in Chapter 9.3a similarly fails. There we go. Fails. Nothing but a failure. Because the claims are clearly not based solely on petitioning activity. These claims go beyond Kearney's statements calling the plaintiffs murderers, which, as explained above, are themselves primarily not petitioning activity, and seek redress for his actions in purportedly organizing the rolling rally mentioned above, publicly releasing the plaintiffs' personal identifying information, harassing the plaintiffs and their family members, and encouraging others to do the same. Conspiring with Reed. This is going to, I'm telling you, I think that I think that you can fucking charge Yannetti and fucking Alan Jackson with conspiracy too. Conspiring with Reed to cover up her crime by wrongfully accusing the plaintiffs and operating a commercial enterprise selling merchandise featuring the plaintiffs' names and likeness. A commercial enterprise. Oh my God, I told you guys, this is just awful. Turtle Boy is having 2 to 3 fundraisers a week. That is a huge, huge red flag. Yet people will still help him pay his house payment. It's just unbelievable. You guys, the money's going to run out. Trust. The type of money that, depending on how Maddie goes about it, but there's nothing that you ever would want to do to have a lawyer personally want to get involved. Like, if a lawyer, oh man, hey, don't worry about those couple hours. I got that. You don't want to give a lawyer a reason to become personally interested in something. Just letting you know, that's the worst thing you could ever do. Yeah. Stupid. Selling merchandise featuring the plaintiff's names As to these claims, Aidan Kearney also has clearly not satisfied his initial burden, and therefore the motion must be denied. Like, as to these claims, petitioning in one's own right, even if Kearney's conduct that is the subject of the challenge claim or claims could be considered petitioning activity, his motion fails for an additional reason. Like, even if you could have done that, okay? The Anti-Slapp statute provides that a special motion may be brought for claims against a party that, in quotes, are based on said party's exercise of its right of petition under the Constitution. That phrase is read as restricting the statute's coverage to those defendants who petition the government on their own behalf. Wait a second, excuse me? The statute is designed to protect overtures to the government by parties petitioning in their status as citizens. What? You're shitting me. Although the party bringing the special motion need not be the beneficiary of the particular cause the party seeks to advance, protections of the statute are limited to those who engaged in petition activity in their own right. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Fuck, no way. Dude, Aiden, you need to get on the phone and you need to call your lawyer and you need to say, what the fuck did I give you 80 G's for in a fucking motion that I could never fucking win? He didn't have a chance. He didn't have a fucking chance and his lawyer just took the money. I love it. I told you that these lawyers are sons of bitches. Sons of bitches. Can you imagine me knowing that? And me not motherfucking telling you that and just taking your motherfucking money? They're like, hey, all we have left in this size hoodie that you want is a small. It's out of stock, dude. We're not getting any more in. Okay? All right, just give it to me. I want it. Tomorrow, fucking a whole shipment's coming in. Okay? Like, his lawyer didn't sit down with him and say, hey, you understand that this wasn't on your behalf. So we have no chance to win this. That's what I'm seeing here, is that, like, let's say that even all of it was petitioning. Here, the FAC alleges that Aidan Kearney was not speaking on his own behalf, but rather on the behalf of Reed. Genius, because, but here, did Maddie ever make this claim? Like, he cannot claim the anti-slap because it doesn't pertain to him. I would be asking for my money back. But then again, I'm an idiot, right? But he's over here praising the work of a man that literally just stole from him. That's all I have to say. And Mark Betterow and fucking Bradle just were like, yeah, you should spend all your money on this. Unfucking believable. These idiots. You guys tell me if you read it any other way. Even petitioning in one's own rights, even if Kearney's conduct that is the subject of the challenge claims could be considered petitioning activity, his motion fails for an additional reason. The Anti-Slapp statute provides that a special motion may be brought for claims against a party that, quote unquote, are based on said party's exercise of its right of petition under the Constitution. That phrase is read as restricting the statute's coverage to those defendants who petition the government on their own behalf. Emphasis added. In citing this Corbin case, you gotta be shitting me. This is amazing. This is so fucking good. I can't wait to see all these fucking lawyers talk about this shit. What are they gonna come up now with? Y'all are fucking donating, okay? Donating to somebody that didn't fucking know this. His lawyer didn't know this. And I didn't see one attorney out there say anything about this. I'm just curious. I don't trust any of these fucking idiots. Okay? Better just, who can I represent? Kara, let me join your team. I'll do it for free. Melanie Little probably is fucking like, it's lies. I mean, that's just, wow. You guys, wow. Whew. Here, the FAC alleges that Aidan Kearney was not speaking on his own behalf, but on Reed's. The FAC alleges that Reed found and enlisted Aidan Kearney. She did. She did. And if you can get that phone number, I'm telling you, I think that other phone number has stuff. To publicize a story about the plaintiffs, and that Aidan Kearney agreed to and did publicize and widely disseminate Reed's false claims about the plaintiffs and others in an effort to destroy the reputations of these individuals so that Reed could evade responsibility for causing the death of O'Keefe. And everybody wants to hang on to the fucking ARCA people. Just wait. Just wait what's around the corner for all that shit. Remember the big old fat fucking lie that we got in trial 1? ARCA were paid witnesses. Remember what people say about paid expert witnesses? Remember what ARCA was only supposed to do in the first part of everything? It was just to launch a fucking potato at a fucking whatever. Yeah. If the Mackenzie Shirley case doesn't teach you a thing or two about car accidents, and that, I mean, how the fuck did that girl survive? And not only did she survive, but like there was like, she survived. I'm just saying. Woo-wee. Damn, I cannot believe. Karma's a bitch, though. Again. Damn. God. This is not beyond a reasonable doubt for anything civil. I'm telling you, I'm predicting right now a clean fucking sweeping loss. All of it. All of it. They're not winning anything in the civil case. She's gonna lose a wrongful death suit. She's gonna lose. They're gonna lose everything. They are not winning any of these. Because the key word here is beyond a reasonable doubt. You could not convict Karen Reed beyond a reasonable doubt. The preponderance of the evidence is the standard in everything civil. And I believe that a jury is, if this goes all the way, I believe that anything that these two do and it gets to a jury, they're going to lose. Atlanta, do I think? No, I don't think his bail will be revoked. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Unless they want to cut a deal and they want something specific, this man is 10 times more valuable to the Commonwealth and these witnesses. He is running his mouth. And wait till you see the more stuff that I have here. He is just, he's literally digging his own grave. They participated in this and did this over the murder of a cop. Which, do I think that it was murder? No, I don't. I don't think anybody went out that night planning to kill anybody, and nor do I think that even in like the moment of like reversing was there. But what happened that night is equivalent to whatever somebody would get, in my opinion, to when you're drinking and driving and there's an accident and someone dies. That's how I look at it. Because I don't know, man. I don't give a fuck what Arca says. After you know the truth about it, then they just become another paid, expert, just like anything else. All of them. Aidan Kearney agreed. Okay, where was I? FAC, okay. It further alleges that Aidan Kearney acted on the behalf of Reed in publishing defamatory statements about the plaintiffs to assist Reed in her trial. That's exactly what it was for. This was a huge thing. And that Aidan Kearney used information in his blog post, which Reed funneled to him 1,000%. That's how it happened. He did not do any of this with knowledge that he would publish it on her behalf. Yep, because it wasn't investigative journalism. If he would have, this idiot, if he would have fucking said, listen, I have to have the appearance of being unbiased, so I have to talk to them. All right, Karen, we're going to play a little game though. Let them think whatever. Okay, but I have to have the appearance of being unbiased. All right? But he has no integrity. He has no moral compass, no nothing. Okay? The day that somebody just provides me with something and I just fucking run with it and come out here and do whatever, and I'm somebody's fucking little bitch, the fuck out of here. But that's what he is. He's a bought and paid for piece of shit. Okay, when he wants to talk about I can't be bought and da-da-da, but fuck that. He is so full of shit. He was bought and paid for, and he laid on his back for Alan Jackson in fucking David Dunetti. Little fucking go fucking fetch boy. Get out. Loose asshole. Now you got Broken Baker being your loose asshole. Fucking bunch of fucking blowhards. Pussy peddlers. Beep, 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 pew. You picked up fucking the wrong person. The right and the wrong person, because nobody would behave like this. This is why people weren't covering Karen's story. See how I said that? I didn't say they weren't they were covering the murder or the death of John O'Keefe, okay? They weren't covering Karen's story like what was being asked. Big fucking difference. In stark contrast to the allegations in the FAC, Kearney characterizes his statements as an effort to raise awareness about police corruption, which he contends is his long-standing cause. He argues that much like the defendants in, Cardno Chem Risk LLC, he was petitioning on his own behalf as an activist and a citizen. In that case, the SJC concluded that environmentalists sued for defamation based on statements made in the Huffington Post criticized a scientific consulting firm that purportedly defended polluters were engaging in petitioning activity because they expressed their own opinions, were speaking for themselves, and at their own behest. Kearney's comparison to the defendants in that case misses the mark. You want to know why? Because pollution could fucking harm you, you dumb fuck. Okay? Pollution can harm you. That's how I would see it. If you're polluting the air, that's directly affecting me, right? And so I'm going to petition on the fact that I don't want you fucking doing that. The only person that was going to prison was Karen Reed. The outcome of that case was Karen Reed. Now, if you want to keep it just about fucking that, remember I kept saying, why aren't you out there trying to put FOIAs in or public requests to show a pattern of history with the people that are the cops over there? You know? And nope, it was Ted Daniels that did that shit. It was Ted Daniels that went and found the GPS shit of Michael Proctor. That motherfucker was so fucking lazy. And I said to myself, wait, actually, he's not lazy. He couldn't do any of that because he was literally on a fucking little fucking leash. Okay? Karen Reed said, jump. And Aiden said, how high? And then just kept blowing her up, how high, how high. He did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. And you don't see Ted Daniels getting in any type of trouble, do you? What's up? What's up, Nan? Hopefully you're good, girl. The statements that are the subject of the plaintiff's claims in this case have nothing to do with police corruption. That they see does not seek to hold Kearney liable for accusing public officials of a corrupt failure to investigate the plaintiffs for killing of Officer John O'Keefe, as Aiden Kearney contends. See Aiden Kearney's reply at 4. Oh, man. Dude, when the judge is just citing this shit, yeah, you can appeal all day. This is fucking bulletproof. Rather, it cites Aiden Kearney's repeated accusations that the plaintiffs are cop killers and murderers who lied about what happened with O'Keefe. Given the content of the statements, it is more than a stretch to conclude that they were in furtherance of advancing Kearney's stated cause. Nope, this is just an after, the fact, trying to, hey, Aiden Kearney didn't even know what fucking this Anti-Slapp was, okay? And so he got fucking slapped with a fucking $100,000 bill. Moreover, Aiden Kearney, in his affidavit states, that he wrote his blog posts on his own. Dude, why are you committing perjury? And Reed did not funnel him information. It does not refute the allegations that Reed enlisted Aiden Kearney to publicize her story and that he did so to assist in her trial. Oh, shit. Oh, so the judge is basically you cannot make that statement. You can't do that, can you? And he can't because I'm telling you, that's the biggest lie. He never once, there was nothing ever that the only times that he ever talked bad about Karen is when Karen was not fulfilling their contractual agreement, whether it was signed or not. They had an agreement, and it was that Aiden Kearney's going to get all the credit for all of this shit. Aiden Kearney didn't get no credit when this was done. None. In fact, Karen Reed didn't fucking publicly say shit about that motherfucker. She basically took his dick and fucking stuck it in the dirt. And then she took her fucking heel and she shoved it up his ass as she walked on over him. But hey, maybe, Karen had her reasons for doing that. That's for recording me, you fucker. But at the end of the day, what Gretchen Voss just put out, you can go check out my page. I put that shit out in March through May of 2026, and it's literally everything that I've been saying. The devil wears Prada, yeah. Grind that heel. Little did we know that heel was a couple sizes too big because Alan Jackson was wearing it the other night. Somebody asked me the other day if I thought that Alan Jackson was gay, by the way. And I said, what? and then Karen Reed's that's her gay bestie. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I died. Oh, shit. Cheers. Cheers for that one. Fuck yeah. Thus, unlike the defendants, Kearney did not speak for himself. Has not shown that he was speaking for himself and at his own behest. Yeah, he didn't. And he definitely didn't show anything to show that I examined. You only examined what the fuck Karen gave you. And she didn't tell you shit about Higgy Boy because she didn't want you to know that she was a little hussy. Them's the facts. Okay. While the Anti-Slapp statute provides very broad protections for petitioning activities, it was intended to protect the right to petition the government for the redress of grievances guaranteed by the United States where there was no reasonable basis to conclude that Aiden Kearney's statements and conduct at issue in the plaintiff's claims were in an effort to petition the government for harm. Aiden Kearney has not carried his threshold burden. And so basically, so Aiden Kearney gets 11 pages worth, more or less, maybe, we'll give him 9 because the intro. So he gets 9 pages. Karen Reed gets like fucking 4. Okay. That should just tell you something. But she basically had like 0 standing. Defendant Reed's initial burden. The plaintiff assert claims against Reed for defamation, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, for aiding and abetting in Kearney's defamation and infliction of emotional distress in civil conspiracy. Reed has failed to show that the claims are based solely on her exercise of the right to petition and have no other substantial basis. Here, it's sad because she could have. The plaintiffs filed the FAC on June 5th, 2026. Reed served her motion to dismiss on June 23rd, 2026. For reasons unknown to the court, Reed's motion fails to address any newly added allegations in the FAC. Reed has attempted to use a reply memorandum to respond to the argument in the plaintiff's opposition that she neglected to account for many statements in the FAC. However, under Superior Court Rule 9A3, a reply memorandum is limited to matters raised in the opposition that were not and could not reasonably have been anticipated and addressed in the moving party's initial memorandum. Emphasis added. Reed clearly should have anticipated that the opposition would have addressed the neglected factual allegations. Nevertheless, the court has considered her argument in the reply brief and finds it unpervasive. Reed's motion cites a handful of allegedly false statements she made about the plaintiffs, which she contends form the basis of the defamation claims and fall under all 5 categories of petition activity. Her motion, however, neglects to address many allegedly defamatory statements, which form a substantial basis of the plaintiff's defamation claim, and which cannot be characterized as petition activity. She doesn't fucking address them. For instance, the FAC alleges during Reed's first trial, she had a documentary filmmaker, Terry, good old Tear Bear, record the trial preparation, which included conducting recorded interviews with Reed over the course of the trial. During an April 30th, 2024 interview, Reed stated that Jen McCabe is a first-degree murderer and she knows it. Oh my God. What the fuck is going on? This is absolutely sickening. She's a first-degree murderer and she fucking knows it. I didn't even know she fucking said that shit. You want to know why? Because I never watched that shit. You want to know why? Because it was on some fucking... What channel was that on? I was just telling Bella the other day. I was like, I want every fucking article and every fucking video that Karen Reed has ever been on. So if anybody wants to help me create that, or if you have the material in like a Excel type of like... I wanted... The reason I wanted it is because I wanted the dates. Because I believe that the significance lies in the dates of when she was doing things. So I think that if we take a look at those dates, we can correlate what the purpose was. So, oh my God. She knows it. That the plaintiffs know they killed John and that the plaintiffs are murderers and they know it. The FAC also alleges that during an interview on June 15th, 2024, Reed told this, I don't know if it's at Maurer and her team, that Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, and Colin Albert had a motive to kill O'Keefe. The only motive would be that you and Higgy Boy were sticky to each other in the dicky, licky, clitty areas. And that was, Brian Higgins said, that never happened. She kissed me. And then she kissed me. And then he kissed me. Was it the ID channel that did that one? That's the one? Oh, you know what? I don't know. a motive to kill O'Keefe, and that during another interview on June 22nd, 2024, Reed told the filmmakers, "I know Brian Higgins had a role in helping kill him. I know. Help him get in the snow and help frame me, but I don't think Higgins necessarily would have wanted to really hurt John. I think Brian Albert and Colin Albert would have enjoyed roughing John up." The fuck? What a fanciful little fucking, like, who hangs out with people that thinks this about people? Like, let's just be real. I'm going to tell you this right now. I am not showing up at the fucking waterfall bar. I am not going over to their house. I'm not hanging out with them the weekend before. I'm not inviting any of these people over to where I fucking basically live at John's. If I could ever imagine that these people thought, and they would get off on the fact of hurting John. I mean, that is psycho. Who the fuck hangs out with people that could seriously think that of somebody? That they could do that? Unbelievable. I mean, is the world just have no, like, is it hard to make friends nowadays? I don't know. She clearly didn't think that, or she wouldn't have been hanging out with them. So fucking bad. So stupid. So stupid. Like so dumb. Although Reed did not address her statements to Maurer in her special motion, her reply brief argues that they fall under the second, third, and fourth clauses. However, she failed to establish this is the case. As explained above, for statements to be reasonably likely to encourage consideration or review of an issue by a legislative or executive or judicial body, they must be directed at an authority that could affect such consideration. The production staff of a documentary film is not such an authority. Like, why even put this in? I guess, like, hey, we're just going to try whatever. I mean, if they appeal this, they're fucking, then they must be playing with Monopoly money. Okay? This is a loser. You're a loser, Chester. You guys know what that's from? Rodney Dangerfield in Ladybugs. You know? Opening scene. The fucking funniest opening scene probably to date. Like, just fucking amazing. Rodney Dangerfield. Looking in the rearview mirror, telling himself how important he is. And then the car rolls up. You're a fucking asshole. Like, this is so classic. Like, yeah, you're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking idiot. We should probably play that little clip. You guys probably want to see it, don't you? One of the best. Rodney Dangerfield. If you guys have never seen Ladybugs, you just need to watch it. Let's see. Ladybugs opening scene. Yeah. Here.
Everybody likes me. My name is Chester. I'm great. I'm wonderful. Everybody likes me.
Hey, Chester. My name's Harlan. And to me, you look like a giant asshole.
Well, if I'm an ass...
Okay, here you go. Ready? Best opening ever of a movie. Rodney Dangerfield and Ladybugs, 1992. Chester is a giant asshole. Just type it in.
Everybody likes me. My name is Chester. I'm great. I'm wonderful. Everybody likes me.
Hey, Chester. My name's Harlan. And to me, you look like a giant asshole.
Well, if I'm an asshole, there's a reason for it. You're contagious.
Look at that van. That's like Turtle Boy back in the day. Look at this van. Anyways, check it out. Ladybugs, best ever. Fucking. Let's see. Now back to the denial of life. I think you're a giant asshole. Just fucking. Let's get a shirt of that. You know, my name is Aiden Carney, and I think you're a giant asshole, Aiden. And my name's Chester, the molester. So just play that shit. I think we need a members only hour of Lana roasting everybody. Fuck this case. That'd be kind of fun. There is also no plausible argument that the statements Reed made to this dude and his team, or her team. Oh fuck, it's a girl. It was a guy. Fuck, I don't know. And her team were reasonably likely to enlist public participation in an effort to effect such consideration. The statements were all made in the midst of Reed's first criminal trial and in the case of the June 22nd, 2024 statements, 3 days before the jury began deliberating. 3 days before the jury began deliberating. Because they were part of the documentary film and it was about the trial, Reed could not have reasonably believed that such statements would be released to the wider public until after the verdict. Reed has also not established that the statements were made in connection with an issue under consideration or review by a legislative, executive, or judicial body. She argues only that the statements fall under the clause or under this clause because the judicial proceedings were ongoing. Duh. And she intended to publicize that she had been framed in order to pressure the Commonwealth to drop her prosecution and instead prosecute the true perpetrators. I think you had a way better shot to say that the cops framed you and they just muddied you up and they did not consider the fact this could have been a fucking accident. Okay? And they just said to make it cut and dry because they didn't want no fucking problems. Because they're lazy. Because they're just corrupt. However, the fact that she was involved in governmental proceedings does not make every tangible statement petitioning activity, yeah. And the proffered motive behind her speech is irrelevant. This threshold inquiry. It doesn't fucking matter why you did it. You did it. She has failed to point to any objective indicia of demonstrating that her statements to this chick, Mirror, were made to influence, inform, or at the very least reach governmental bodies either directly or indirectly. Aiding and abetting claims. The plaintiffs assert claims against Reed for aiding and abetting Aiden Carney's defamation and infliction of emotional distress. She sure did. Reed contends that her conduct was petitioning activity because it was made in connection with an issue under consideration or review by a legislative, executive, or judicial body. So I have a question. If you're over here admitting that you were doing the shit, right? Then, like, how is that going to bolt down the road? Yeah, I was doing all of this. Wouldn't I be saying I wasn't aiding and abetting anything? I don't have any, my defense to that is I wasn't aiding and abetting him because I wasn't doing anything with him, right? But, I just feel like, aren't they trapping them? Aren't they, again, I would just pass on this whole fucking motion. I would have never filed this. I now feel strongly about the fact that the reason that damn, what is Alan Jackson thinking? What is Bob Alessi? I wonder what he thinks about all this. Reed's motion focuses on allegations in the FAC that she communicated to Carney non-public information that was in court filings or that was evidence in her criminal trial. She does not explain how her providing Aiden Carney, as opposed to the court, with a police report with the plaintiff's private addresses, phone numbers, and social security numbers on it was petitioning activity. Oh, shit, man. See, why would you want to just take these fucking blows? I'm good on this. Like, what did you think he was going to write? Even if such communication could be considered petitioning activity, the aiding and abetting claims extend beyond these select allegations. For instance, the FAC alleges that Reed found and enlisted Aiden Carney, an aspiring internet personality with limited reach in the greater Boston area. It's so true. You guys, Please go and find him trucking along in that fucking rinky-dink motherfucking van, okay? And him saying, oh, okay, 4 people in here? All right, we can start. Just right there. If that can please be played as an exhibit in the fucking opening statements or the closing statements, or the closing arguments, rather, I will be the happiest fucking clam. To see that video as an exhibit of him, oh, fucking rinky-dink van, pulling over. He has to talk to his 7 viewers about some stupid fucking Chrissy Yamakowski, okay? Yamagachi, fucking your titties. Ridiculous. Alright, 7 people are here, we can start. Hey, fucking out of here, man. Okay. Look at this. With no journalistic training, editorial standards, or oversight, who is seeking attention and money and routinely engaged in provocation and courted controversy to publish her false statements. Like, yep, we need somebody that has no care in the world. Who is going to engage in this behavior? Who is going to help us circumvent the courts? So that it was all about this federal investigation. And if you think for a second that this fucking courtship started in fucking April, y'all are fucking nuts. Nutsy. Nutsy no. Nutsy. Do you understand what a risk Alan Jackson was taking with somebody that he barely knows to provide information like the federal investigation? And hey, you need to write about it so that I can then mention it in court. At the very least, if Alan Jackson didn't have to spell it out for him, like, hey, I need you to write about this. You need to write about this, blah, blah, blah. Why? Like, he's just saying, this is where the story's at. This is what you need to write about. So Aiden Kearney can think back to those little conversations and how set up he was. But Aiden Kearney had an opportunity to say, whoa, what the fuck, dude? You guys were my source. I wasn't your source. Like, he would know that. And what did he do? He knew exactly how it played out. And then when things were going bad between Karen and Kearney, after the second trial, he outs the whole thing and says, Alan Jackson's a genius. This is what he did. He gave me the material. I fucking wrote about it. And then he could talk about my article in court. What a moron. And I caught that. I saved it. And I fucking was going nuts about it. I'm like, this motherfucker just admitted to something that they couldn't prove. They could not prove that in the search warrant. That was circumstantial evidence because they could prove that he talked to Alan Jackson that day, and then the article came out just 2 hours later about the federal shit on 420. Aiden Kearney then goes and tries to delete his 420 episode, but guess what? Before he went to go delete it, we had already downloaded it and got it out of the... we don't need to tell you that, but we got it. We created some really, really special shit lately. But this dude's a fucking joke. This dude's a criminal. He's a menace. And he's dangerous. And to think that he was ever a fucking teacher, oh my God. I would have ate this motherfucker up. I would have walked my happy ass in that fucking high school, wherever the fuck he was teaching, being insane, doing anything weird with my kid. Go read his fucking stupid book. That's all he talks about is, this parent had to come in. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, you were teaching all the bad kids. They couldn't even trust you to have a fucking AP, history class. You were teaching all the fuck-ups. That's what they trusted you with. Here. They don't even want to be here. Here you go. Give them that class. She then told him that the plaintiffs were responsible for O'Keefe's death, and he broadcast such statements on his blog. You're going to be able to prove that there was phone calls and text messages all happening while he was live. That's the other thing that's going to come out. Reed's motion does not address how such statements have a plausible nexus to her prosecution. Indeed, the fact that Reed chose Aiden Kearney as an outlet for her statement for her statements, knowing he would convey the information in a way that would provoke and inflame his audience against the plaintiffs, suggests that the statements were not meant to influence, inform, or bring about governmental consideration of the issues. This is what I just said about an hour ago when I started. I said, how the fuck you petitioned? You went to the feds. You got them to take on this thing. Why did you need to go? Why did you even need to tell and get Aiden Carney? Because that was all fluff. They did all of that for the same how Rachel Rollins did her shit back in the day. It was a fake ass shit. It was fake ass shit. Okay? They knew that there would be nothing there. Except for the fact of, if you want to start talking about that these people had like corrupt ways about them in the past or whatnot. But as far as these plaintiffs go, or as far as like the witnesses go, I personally believe that you got Aiden and got him so early on because you needed to weaponize the fact that there was this federal investigation, because then what it did, it undermined everything. It then could make it all seem to all of you guys that we're just ingesting this shit that he was putting out there, that, oh, the feds are in, oh my god, da, 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 like, oh wow, they're investigating them. No, fuck all that. Fuck all of that. They didn't find shit. Except what? 2000, the fact that what's a stupid fucking piece of shit, bald-headed motherfucker wants to say Karen Reed's a cunt and all that crazy shit. Like, Karen Reed should be so fucking happy that that motherfucker said all that shit. Karen Reed should literally go give him a fucking blowjob. He fucking saved her life, in my opinion. This fucking idiot. She then told him that the plaintiff's responsible. Okay, I read that. Reed's motion does not address how such statements have a... Okay, I read that. Indeed, the fact that... Okay, I read that. Okay. Oh, statements to the Boston Globe, a newspaper widely circulated in Boston and throughout the Commonwealth, were likely to reach the decision makers at Department of Mental Health and members of the public wishing to weigh in on licensing decisions. Look at this. Oh my God, you would think that, like, talk about this pow right here. Okay? Gretchen Voss just unleashed. He talks about the Boston Globe. Nor does Reed explain how the content of her statements to Kearney, accusations that the plaintiffs murdered O'Keefe, either directly or indirectly called on members of the public to appeal to the government on her behalf. Statements with no potential or intent to redress a grievance or directly or indirectly to influence, inform, or bring about governmental consideration of the issue lack a crucial characteristic of petitioning activity. Now, has it ever come out, and we've heard it from the mouths of the lawyers, to really dig in and to talk about how they got the fucking how they got a federal investigation going in the first place? We just know that there's a federal... How did you get it, though? What the fuck did y'all say? What'd you provide them with? You know? Other claims. The remaining claims against Reed, alleging intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress and civil conspiracy, all have a substantial basis other than petitioning activity. The claims against, or the claims allege that Reed orchestrated, and she did, a campaign of harassment against the plaintiffs, which included funneling information to Aiden Kearney and hiring a private investigator to confront the plaintiffs. That she and Kearney agreed on a scheme to defame, harass, abuse, and intimidate the plaintiffs. That she provided Aiden Kearney with non-public and confidential information about the plaintiffs, and that she celebrated the destruction of the plaintiffs' reputations while monetizing the publicity. You want to know how she monetized it? $1 million motherfucking dollars in a fucking goddamn give, send, go. $1 million. And that's not fucking talking about anything that did not go through that Give Send Go. Do you know how much money did not go through that Give Send Go? A shit ton. A shit ton. Why do you think Aiden Carney got to keep all of his, why was he selling Karen Reed merch? Karen Reed's like, I don't care about I don't want the money. Usually people would care because, hey, I need some of that money. I need to pay for a lawyer. I don't care. I don't care about the money. Speaking of which, somebody just sent me a framed t-shirt. Oh, shit. Reed's motion does not attempt to explain how any of this conduct could be considered petitioning activity. Rather, she argues that all the claims are based on Reed's alleged defamatory statements to Aiden Carney, which she contends were all petitioning activity. For reasons stated above, the court concludes they also are not. Because Reed has failed to show that her statements and conduct at issue in the plaintiff's claims were in an effort to petition to the government for redress of harm, she has not carried her threshold burden for anti-slap motion. The court therefore need not proceed to the second step of the analysis, and the challenged claims will survive. The end. Denied and denied. And we have an update, and it is 2-0 sweep for the McAlberts. Any questions? We're just going to go ahead and stamp it. Now, to give you guys just a little preview of what's coming tomorrow, if you are new to my channel, please do not hesitate to go to, in March, I started a series, a Turtle Boy series, and I started back from the beginning of who the fuck Turtle Boy was, where he came from, all this shit about Turtle Boy. And you have to go back to understand who this man is. What does he do with his life? What does he do with his, he wanted to start some blog. He used to be a history teacher, blah, blah. But how does he navigate the world? Like, what really rocks this man's box? And then how in the world did him and Suge Tits Karen collide? How'd their orbits collide? Well, after you take a peek at everything that I posted, and when I say posted, I did lives about it and I showed it. And well, once you do that, you will see and think that, oh my God, Gretchen Voss, like, Lana, are you a source to Gretchen Voss? No. Never talked to Gretchen Voss in my entire fucking life. But let me read something to you guys. Just a little dip. Hashtag Lana is right. Gretchen Voss. Where is it at? For the first time ever, Lawyer of the Year award revoked. What? What happened? Made with AI? Is it a joke? This has to be a joke. Okay. You can never trust this shit on Twitter. K Schmidt, what's up, dog? Thank you so much. Woo woo. Tossing out 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Backseat Juror, happy anniversary. Thank you for all that you do, Lana. Thank you for being here, Backseat Juror. You've been here for a long time. I even think it's more than 12 months. Sassy, new member. Love it. Cheers. Okay, here we go. This is Aiden's, well, this is, Gretchen Voss wrote this and uploaded it. Was it yesterday or the day before? My days are just running together. And it was titled Backstage Behind in the Karen Reed Case. Everybody's been going wild on social media about it. God, how much did people post today? Fuck shit. The Broken Baker wanted to write me and say, oh, his fundraiser, do you just say stuff and hope no one fact checks your BS? She was a guest like the rest of us. The fuck are you talking about? I just simply said that Jess Machado herself raised 10 G's. I made a comment because Aiden was goading about a 3-hour live with Will that made 11,000 or 13 or something like that. I'm like, Jess Machado made 10 G's in fucking, 1 hour. He fucking lost his dick. Like, why are you... What's wrong with you? Lana was right. Have you seen Voss' article? You could have written it, says Katie G. I said, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then it gets shared, and I was like, oh my God, this is straight fire. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Bunch of idiots. I thought I shared it. I can never find stuff on fucking Twitter. I hate this fucking app. People think I'm joking, but I really fucking don't. I just fucking hate this app. Okay, here we go. Inside the campaign that acquitted Karen Reed. For 3 years, the witnesses in the Karen Reed murder trial were harassed at their jobs, their homes, their children's sporting games. It wasn't random. It wasn't a movement of true believers. It was a coordinated campaign against them, and now they're fighting back. Jennifer McCabe spotted him coming across the bleachers at her daughter's lacrosse game. Aiden Carney, the blogger who goes by the name of Turtle Boy, arrived in a mask and then pulled it off. He wasn't hiding. He shoved his phone, the video rolling, into her face. Hey, Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen to your family when you go to jail? She looked straight ahead from under her baseball cap, trying to ignore him, trying to disappear as other parents gawked. Jen, did you think you could outsmart Karen Reed, yes or no? And you know what this motherfucker came out and has said since then? That Karen Reed told him to say that. An idiot. An absolute fucking moron. You know what? When you what do they say? The cheap comes out expensive. Always remember that. Aiden Carney. He is the definition of the cheap comes out expensive. School officials eventually moved in and escorted Aiden Carney from the stadium. But he didn't go quietly. Cop killers. That's what they are. They're cop killers. The cop he was referring to was John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer found dead. We all know that now. Going right here. After Reed was indicted for manslaughter and then second-degree murder in 2022, she maintained her innocence, claiming that the people inside the house where she dropped off O'Keefe, Brian Albert, his nephew Colin, and O'Keefe's close friend, McCabe, were the ones responsible for his death. She argued that they were able to cover it up thanks to a conspiracy involving dozens of people, including officials from the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, the Massachusetts State Police, Canton Police, first responders, and expert witnesses. Aiden Carney was the first to report this alternative theory, raising questions about what had, until then, been seen as an open and shut case, at least on the manslaughter charge. Kearney's coverage, he has published more than 550 blogs, posts in the Canton cover-up series, along with thousands of tweets and hundreds of live streams, spawned a Free Karen Read movement that spread across Massachusetts and beyond. None of the witnesses, they were ever charged. None of them were charged with a crime. But the rage unleashed against them irrevocably altered their lives. Ever since that first post, and even today, McCabe says she receives frequent calls, voices on the line calling her an evil bitch and worse, and Facebook messages accusing her of being a murderer. People drive by her house, take pictures, and send them to her to let her know that they are watching. One time, someone edited a photograph of McCabe's daughter and added the caption, "Property of Turtle Boy," as well as digitally generated semen on her face and leg, and sent it to her. McCabe's email and bank accounts have been hacked. People wore t-shirts and hoodies with her picture, which at one point were the hottest selling items in Turtle Boy's website merchandise store. Similar harassment also played out for the other witnesses. What few people know, though, is that the harassment of the witnesses and anyone who dared to question Reed's defense, including this reporter, who has covered the case since its early days, was in fact orchestrated by Reed herself and at times coordinated with her defense team. According to now public text exchanges between Reed and Aidan Carney, often through this, they were pretending that there was this intermediary, and I think another phone would prove that. Reed dictated to Aidan Carney exactly what he should write and how. Her attorneys leaked confidential information to him, and together they orchestrated the harassment of the witnesses. All the while, Reed's camp publicly denied any contact with Aidan Carney. That's what I was getting out heavily in March. That this was unfucking believable. Because this was not independent investigative journalism like they wanted everybody to believe. Unfucking believable. You were donating to what you thought was Aidan Carney and his sources that were not her team had helped uncover like this, these fucking, unbelievable. I think there should be a class action and we should sue. It's fraud. It's fucking fraud. And the person that we should be suing is Aidan Carney because he was falsely advertising it of what it was. He was the one that knew that it wasn't an independent investigative piece. Fucking cocksucker. He's a fucking liar. A leopard never changes their spots, dude. He is... What you see is what you get. Dude's a fucking kook. He's a liar. He lies to you guys every fucking day. I think Chris Watts is the guiltiest motherfucker, and he tells you daily that I think Chris Watts is fucking innocent. Like, that in and of itself is defamation. And that I was like... Said that I would give Chris Watts a blowjob. I guess he doesn't know who I date. Yeah, what a fucking moron. All the while, Reed's camp publicly denied any contact with Aidan Carney. So again, even the line, "Did you think you could outsmart Karen Reed?" That Kearney spat at McCabe as she shrank into herself at the lacrosse game had been dictated by Reed. Unbelievable. Equally troubling, it seems, that Reed's legal team brought their case to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts. A federal inquiry into the handling of the police investigation into the O'Keefe death followed. This federal investigation, which departed from standard investigative practices in ways that legal experts have questioned, resulted in Reed's defense team gaining access to evidence they might not have otherwise obtained, including lead state police investigator Michael Proctor's personal text messages. That's the only thing that they got that was worth a goddamn. The federal investigation ultimately went nowhere, and it wouldn't have, you people. I'm telling you that right now. If there was anything there, it would have uncovered it. Because we are dealing with absolute fucking morons. These people couldn't cover up their fucking noses, okay? They would have... People were trying to make careers off of this. Adam Deitch. Josh Levy. Okay, so the federal investigation ultimately went nowhere, but its mere existence, and this is what I have been harping on, but its mere existence was invaluable. Just the mere existence of it. And that's what I've been preaching. And here's Gretchen Voss, okay? But its mere existence lent legitimacy to Kearney's accusations. It gave much of the public the impression that the witnesses might be perpetrators of the crime and quite possibly affect the outcome of the trial itself. Abso-fucking-lutely it did. Meanwhile, instead of protecting the witnesses to a crime, the feds left them hanging out to dry as the harassment fueled by public knowledge of the federal investigation itself continued to upend their lives. Because that's what was used as that's what they weaponized. When I say they, Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney and her defense team, they weaponized this fucking federal investigation to go at these witnesses. Now, a little over a year after Reed was acquitted of killing O'Keefe, the witnesses who continue to suffer harassment are taking matters into their own hands. They have secured legal representation from famed Sandy Hook lawyer Chris Maddie, who took down Alex Jones and won the largest defamation verdict in U.S. history, and are suing Reed and Kearney for defamation. I loved John, and I loved his niece Kaylee, who called me at 4:53 that morning. Remember, they did not insert themselves into this. Karen Reed had Kaylee call. That is a fact. Who called me at 4:53 that morning, McCabe said. All I did was answer a call and tried to help. And for that, my life has been destroyed. It was 2:07 a.m. on April 18th, 2023. 2:07 a.m. on April 18th, 2023, when Aidan Kearney sent a message from his home in Holden. He had been typing feverishly, working on his initial blog post about the murder of John O'Keefe. Now he attached it to a message for Natalie between him and Reed. Read it over. Change exonerating to exonerate at the end of the first paragraph. Reed responded through Natalie at 2:09. How the fuck could you possibly have seen if something was sent at 2:07? How could she respond by 2:09? You understand that that's insanity? They had a different phone. Reed responded through Natalie at 2:09. So this is how this would have played out. If he sent Natalie at 2:07, here, send this to Reed, look it over, see what she thinks. 2:07. How the fuck could Karen Reed get something back to Natalie and then Natalie back to Aidan Kearney by 2:09? That's saying that you'd have to be like sitting right by your phone and like boom, 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 and then you open it, read it, and then you're already saying, hey, change it. I mean, that is some sick... I'm telling you, there's another phone, and it's that he got rid of it. But they know the number, and you can get phone records back anywhere between 5 to 10 years. So I hope that they're looking into that. I'm telling you, there's another number. According to an extraction of Aidan Kearney's cell phone, which was obtained by prosecutors as a result of witness intimidation charges against Aidan Kearney and later became public via Kearney's now former girlfriend. I would have said via now he broke a... There was a protective order on it. He broke the protective order and then gave it to her, his girlfriend. So I would have, if I was, maybe I'll hit up Gretchen Voss and say, if you're going to report accurately, you need to report accurately that there was a protective order on his material, on that material. And he broke the protective order to give it to her. So let's get it all out there. He has a niece and a nephew, because Aidan Kearney only wrote niece. And so he had to add that John had a nephew. Thank you, replied Kearney. Keep them coming and I'll live edit. At 2:14 a.m., Reed sent another note through Natalie. Carrie Roberts repeated the same story as Jen. She kept sending edits until 3:06 a.m. when she was satisfied. Satisfied. Amaze ball sauce, she wrote, according to the phone extraction. Thank you so much. Hope they like it, Kearney wrote to Natalie, a former college acquaintance of Reed. They love it. Incredible. Hope they like it. They love it. The week prior, Natalie had been introduced to Kearney over Facebook by one of his followers. It was all a setup, man. The two began texting, and after getting Reed's approval, Natalie started receiving information from Reed and passing it to Aidan Kearney. They did that as a show, you guys. It was a pony show, and they wanted there to be a witness. Okay. Natalie started receiving information from Reed and passing it to Aidan Kearney. According to Natalie and messages from Reed, or from Kearney's phone, there was other information Reed wanted to make sure Aidan Kearney had, like, quote unquote, she started sending me pictures of Jen McCabe, Colin's battered knuckles, all the different Alberts, and just who's who. Natalie, who now regrets her support of Reed, told that to Gretchen Voss. That included a photo from Reed, which Kearney published, supposedly showing state police lead investigator Michael Proctor with McCabe's daughters. In fact, they were not McCabe's daughters. So Aidan read all over this, right? And notice how he didn't have, hey, you need to change that. This whole entire time, they were running with that picture of Michael Proctor with those two. That was never fucking McCabe's daughters. Fucking son of a bitches, man. Kearney was an unlikely person to take on this role. I can't believe that she's saying that. Kearney was an unlikely person to take on this role. Less than 2 weeks after O'Keefe's death the prior year, he addressed the case on YouTube livestream. In quotes, no doubt she killed him, because obviously the taillight was out, but who the fuck intentionally kills someone by backing into them? He told his fans. He speculated that Reed was drunk and had driven into her boyfriend by accident. That, however, was before Reed and her lawyers started giving him access to information about the case to report for them, which could make him a star, an award-winning journalist even. Please tell TB he will get all the credit from my camp when this blows up. And when I talk to Dateline next, Reed wrote to Kearney via Natalie. Communicating through text and signal, an encrypted messaging app, and eventually by phone, Reed would go on to use Aidan Kearney to disseminate the alternative theory she hoped would upend the case against her and keep it from ever reaching trial. Reed did not respond to requests for comment on this piece. Aidan Kearney called himself an investigative reporter, but his first blog was based entirely on court documents from the defense, including a motion and 92-page affidavit filed 5 days earlier on April 12th. In it, Reed and her celebrity attorney from Los Angeles, Alan Jackson, argued that Brian Albert and his nephew Colin Albert were responsible for O'Keefe's death and that Jennifer McCabe helped cover it up with investigators. From that first post, and the hundreds more that would follow, putting the blame on the witnesses became a reoccurring feature of Kearney's coverage as Reed continued to direct it. The morning the first blog hit, it jolted the tight-knit Canton community, rippling through group chats and youth sports sidelines. The witnesses' phones started blowing up, their DMs filling with questions and accusations. In the face of the online harassment, the witnesses rushed to shut down their social media accounts. Reed appeared pleased with the fallout. In quotes, "They're all folding," she texted Kearney through Natalie. For Kearney, the reaction was welcome. His page views, largely from readers who call themselves Turtle Riders, surged to a reported 80,000 a day that April, up from about 40,000, according to figures that Kearney provided to Boston. Many of those followers would form part of the Free Karen Read movement, acting as foot soldiers in a campaign against the witnesses that he directed after taking his own marching orders from Reed and her attorneys. It's all true, baby. A few days later, on April 22nd, Adam Carney, using the Canton Police Department's incident report, which the defense had recently filed unredacted against court rules with the witnesses' personal information, called McCabe and Brian Albert while live streaming and accused them of covering up O'Keefe's murder. He claimed McCabe was sleeping with Albert, her sister's husband. Then he showed images of that unredacted report on a live stream. His thousands of viewers now had the witnesses' private phone numbers, addresses, and social security numbers. After Kearney's stream, Reed's local attorney, David Unetti, texted to congratulate him. "That was priceless, dude. Great fucking show. Really enjoying the total reporting," he wrote, adding that Kearney mispronounced his name, but loved how you followed it up with, "That proves that I'm not talking to them," according to Kearney's phone extraction. The next day, Natalie sent Aidan Kearney a message from Reed, who wanted him to write more about the secret federal probe. "Not public. The feds have been involved longer than anyone is likely guessing," Reed told him. A week later, Natalie relayed confidential federal grand jury information that Reed should not have known about. The first assistant U.S. attorney. They don't shoot and miss. They have a case and way more evidence than we do. I know this for a fact. Jen McCabe testifies this coming week. I'm not sure about the others. This is not going to trial. And then in parentheses, for me. Do you understand that Aidan Kearney is full of shit when he wants to say that he didn't want a trial? He's full of shit because Karen Reed didn't want a trial. And he's doing this for Karen Reed. And that was the objective. And it's in messages. So they're fucked with that, saying, "Oh, I wanted this to go to trial." Get the fuck out of here, dude. Nope. Fucking ErrandBoy. The following week, on May 3rd, at the first pretrial court appearance, you know, when he showed up in his little fucking suit, it looked like a fucking turtle, because he needed to make sure that people knew who he was, so they'd easily, oh, there he is. Fucking clown. So he shows up in his turtle suit at the first pretrial court appearance. That was his first one, following Aidan Kearney's inaugural blog. It appeared clear that the effort to seed the alternative theory through Aidan Kearney's coverage was working. For the first time, a crowd of protesters gathered outside the courthouse, and a few dozen TV cameras and reporters were there to capture it. They were clapping, Jackson told Boston in 2023. And then, as we walked in, the door shut, and they started applauding. And we realized, okay, things have just shifted. Inside the courthouse, the next step in the campaign was about to unfold. 2 weeks earlier, on April 20th, this is the fucking one that he tried to get down, we got it though. 2 weeks earlier, on April 20th, just days after publishing his first post, like it was April 18th, he had spoken with Reed's defense team, who confirmed to him the federal investigation was underway. According to Kearney's phone extraction and admissions Kearney later made on his YouTube stream, yep, he's such a fucking moron. That's straight out of my reporting. You can go check it out. March, April, and May. It's all there. Everything that she's saying, and I brought some fucking heavy receipts. This is what got, me like, fuck you, Lana. You got total derangement syndrome. No, I'm just like, no, my IQ is just better than yours, I guess. I don't know what to tell you people, but you've just been lied to, and you want to accept the lies, and I'm not going to accept the lies. And I'm going to speak out for the truth. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care if you fucking have an LA attorney. I don't give a fuck if you eat at the seaport every fucking day. I don't give a shit. These people better pray that they don't get arrested for witness intimidation and conspiracy to commit it. Because you will still serve prison time. There is no statute of limitations. It's 27 years is the statute of limitations in Boston or in Massachusetts. And after 27 years, you could still be charged with it. You just have to have new evidence on top of whatever it was before. So, okay. That same day after the call, Kearney posted a blog detailing the federal probe. In it, Aidan Kearney wrote, according to reliable sources close to the matter, a federal grand jury has subpoenaed multiple witnesses who were in the home of Boston police officer Brian Albert on the night fellow BPD officer John O'Keefe was killed. The FBI has taken over the investigation and they have visited the homes of multiple witnesses. He says the FBI has taken over the investigation. That is a lie. The FBI didn't take over any investigation. And you know that that was specifically wrote like that. He confirmed, quote unquote, with 100% certainty that Jennifer McCabe had received a subpoena, even though federal grand jury information is supposed to be strictly confidential. I want to know how Karen Reed would have ever known when the fuck Adam Deitch and Josh Levy were at her house. And when people were testifying at the grand jury, that could only come from one person or two people, like those people that were actually doing it were then fucking telling Karen Reed about it, or her attorneys rather. Unreal, unbelievable. So think about this. Why would you ever engage in this type of activity with somebody that you don't know named Aidan Kearney? You never would do that. Ever would do that. You would have to have some type of trust in this man. Otherwise, he could blow up your fucking spot. And I mean, he ends up doing it, but he ends up doing it 3 years later. He ruined them. We would have never known any of this if Aidan Kearney wasn't such a fuck. I love it for him. I fucking love it for him. You want to know why I love it for him? Because when I get down here a couple more paragraphs, it's brutal what he caused. I reported on this. At the time, Kearney publicly denied including to her Gretchen Voss. So I came out and I said, listen, Aidan Kearney denied to Gretchen Voss back in the day that they were ever talking. I personally believe that Gretchen Voss was tipped off by Matt Gutman about having dinner with Alan Jackson, Karen Reed, and Aidan Kearney. And that's how this whole thing started. And that happened in July of 2023. Then he aired that ABC shit in August of 2023. And that's what caused the Morrissey fucking, they call it the hostage video. Nobody understands the true timeline of everything. And the stuff that was being put on Facebook to the police department's website and shit like that. Anyways. So at the time, Aidan Kearney publicly denied to Gretchen Voss, while reporting my story in the subsequent months, that he had any contact with Reed or her team. On a later live stream, he acknowledged that he had lied to me at Reed's request. Reed's asking for fucking people to cover her things. Hey, lie to her. Yep, talk. I lied to you at Karen's request. On May 3rd, the defense team's leak came full circle. This is what I reported back in March. It's been reported that the federal authorities have now gotten involved in the circumstances surrounding this case and have impaneled a federal grand jury to investigate some of these circumstances. Jackson announced to the court. Then raised his voice for dramatic effect, he added, in quotes, Karen Reed should not have to wait for the feds to figure out which head should roll. Jackson was able to speak about the federal involvement in the grand jury in open court and have it entered into the public record because it had already been reported by Turtle Boy on 420. In a later court filing, opposing a proposed gag order, they were in opposition of it. Yannetti argued, and this is what I laid out, Yannetti argued that Jackson had merely been, quote unquote, reiterating what had already been publicly reported. Not, he said, revealing anything about the grand jury being impaneled. Something about which the defense team would have no knowledge, end quote. What Yannetti did not add is that it had been reported because his team had leaked it to Aiden Carney. Jackson and Yannetti did not respond to requests for comment. But the defense team's role in the federal investigation went back further than merely leaking it to the press. Did you kill John O'Keefe? Colin Albert says. Adam Deitch, an assistant U.S. attorney, yelled at him. Did you kill John O'Keefe? No, he replied, shocked. Tell us the truth. It was a suffocatingly hot day in late July 2023 when Colin was called to testify before the federal grand jury at the Moakley Courthouse. Colin recalls, 19 years old and recently finished with his freshman year at Bridgewater State, where he played football. He says he didn't understand why he was even there. Colin's lawyer was not allowed inside the small, square room where rows of jurors faced him. Not one, as it is customary, but two federal attorneys questioned him. Two of them were Adam Deitch, an assistant U.S. attorney who is now running for Norfolk County District Attorney, and Joshua Levy, the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts, a role that doesn't typically question witnesses. There's this Dustin Chow, another assistant U.S. attorney who was also present. Behind Colin's shoulder were Adam Kearney's tweets and blogs. They were projected onto the screen. Those were fucking exhibits. His fucking blog screen tweets shit. Every single thing came from him. They didn't use anything else. Nothing else. Colin tells me, noting that they didn't even bother to take Kearney's name off the screenshots. Eventually, they accused me of every single thing Kearney said. They also projected, Colin says, the same pictures Kearney had published on his blog. Colin playing football, Colin at a wedding when he was a young boy, Colin's bloody knuckles. Those pictures, according to Kearney's phone extraction, had originated with Reed, who had found them while trolling Facebook late at night and sent them to Aiden Carney through the Natalie, to print online. According to Colin, the material federal prosecutors put before the grand jury had in significant part originated with Aiden Carney. What he didn't know at the time was that Aiden Carney had received it from Reed. They're so fucked. So you're going to sit here and tell me that these fucking assholes, Adam Deitch and fucking Josh Levy, were using that fucking dipshit's fucking blogs and his online fucking live stream, whatever he was posting, all the different pictures and stuff like that. They were using them as their exhibits to ask Colin questions. After hours of confrontational, combative questioning, Colin asked for a break, went back into the small room where his lawyer waited, and broke down. When it was all over, he broke down again in his father's car. I couldn't stop shaking. I couldn't even speak, Colin says. I was like, what the fuck did they do to me in there? Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey has called the federal investigation in his office murder case unprecedented. He is not the only one. According to former assistant U.S. attorney who worked in the office's public corruption unit, it is rare for the federal government to open a parallel investigation into an active state homicide case and rarer still for a murder defendant's attorneys to bring the case to them. How exactly Reed's defense team got the ear of the U.S. Attorney's Office before the federal investigation began remains unclear. What's clear is a series of documented connections, some direct, some circumstantial, between people around Reed's case and people around the federal office that took it up. Yannetti had a prior professional relationship with Rachel Rollins. That's why fucking Turtle Boy stopped talking about her. The U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts in the fall of 2022, when the federal probe began, he had been invited to serve on Rollins' transition team when she took office in 2019. According to the multiple sources, including Morrissey, Rollins disliked Morrissey, whom she had publicly accused of being misogynistic. In a letter he wrote to the DOJ's Office of Professional Responsibility after learning his witnesses were being subpoenaed to the federal grand jury, Morrissey formally raised what he called concerns about motive, conflict, or appearance of conflict. Does everybody understand now the timeline here on why the fuck those letters were ever written? Like, what's going on here? Morrissey wrote that the other guy, Chow, the head of the U.S. Attorney's Public Corruption Unit, who was heading up the federal investigation, had asked a Massachusetts State Police detective in 2018 if he had any kind of damaging information on the district attorney, the first assistant, or the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. I confirmed this with the detective, who added that that dude, Chow, had disparaged Morrissey in vulgar terms and told him, "I would do a case against that guy if you know anything about him." The animosity, Morrissey wrote in his letter, stemmed from his office attempting to demote that Cho's guy's wife, Laura, from her position at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office years earlier. She resigned instead and filed an ethics complaint, which was dismissed. Morrissey also pointed to Rollins, that's who I think it is, who resigned in the wake of an investigation by the DOJ's Office of the Inspector General that found, among other things, ethical violations, that she tried to create the public impression that the DOJ was investigating a political opponent of hers, because it's a very similar approach that they did with this. Make the appearance that this is, federal investigation, blah, blah, and use it to your advantage to completely put doubt in the public's eyes. And it's unbelievable what has taken place here. It's sad. Lana, he thinks that the article helped him on his presentation today. What? David and Eddie and Bob Alessi are like, thank the Lord. The good Lord, this is not our problem. I think David and Eddie might have some skin in the game still. Let's go. Well, you know what? It wouldn't be a day without visiting Turtle Boy's page. So you guys are going to come back and I'll read the second half of that to you. For tomorrow. I want to see if I can I'm trying to get a guest for tomorrow night's show. And if I can, it'll be really good. I'm trying to pull off Turtle Boy Live. Look at this fucking idiot. He's got so much shit coming at him.
I'm not going to replay it right now. But if you want to see it yourself, if you're just curious what it is, right, you can go. By the way, do I have the Turtle Chat linked in there? If anyone wants Turtle Chat thread, you can do that. Turtle Chat. Turtle Chat.
Look at this shit.
Because he is one angry. You want to stick around $4 or $5? Easy. You just click on the phone. It's so easy. Turn your AC on. It is on. And the window's open, I know. But
what is he doing?
yes, probably close the window.
AC's on.
Alright. So, what's up, everybody? Good morning. How's everybody doing? Bus stop live check-in. Not from the bus stop today because it's summer vacation, July 24th, 2026. Got a lot going on, obviously.
Nobody wants to fucking see this shit. What else did he upload?
Morning, people. What's going on? How's everybody doing out there? Good, excellent. We'll see. But, there's a couple things in there that, so I did a 20-minute and 28-second interview with Gretchen Voss. And
what is he doing with his microphone?
During that interview, nothing I said was used in the article because I guess it was too factual for her, which was interesting. She couldn't even take anything I said and spin it. And yeah, maybe she'll release that entire recording, or someone else will. We'll see. But anyway, how's everybody doing today? Let's see.
He's a fucking dumbass.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to have your messages read, you can click the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $Uncle Turtle Boy, and we can do it that way. Okay. Yeah, it was a members only. So yeah, become a member if you haven't already. Everyone should be expensive. All this shit going on, man. Trying to read.
Well, online grandma, that's amazing. I think Disco, how cute. Thank you, dear. That's also needs what I want to show you from Turtle Boy, and then you're going to read this magazine article, and I need you with me to do it because I can't read it by myself. I get so angry that I have to stop and go through it. So let's start with this.
What does she get so angry about? Sam, it's all facts. I mean, you know what I always wonder? It doesn't matter how many degrees you go out and get. In chronological order is sequential order, chronological order. Being able to put things in order. It's very, very important in life. Especially if you're going to talk about criminal cases. And none of these motherfuckers get that through their head. Put a timeline together. Understand what came first. What came second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 15th. I mean, seeing these people get so mad about what? No one's lying here. Do the fucking work. God damn.
You tell me what you think.
Better when he was on my show, we were friendly. I haven't talked to him. So I'm ambivalent on Better. I think he's a skilled lawyer. I think he does pretty good. I think he did the best he could today.
Like that just on a dime can just switch from Karen Reed is completely innocent to Karen Reed is guilty. A year after Karen Reed has been fully acquitted by a jury. I mean, a year later. This is a done-ish. Karen Reed's been acquitted. She didn't do it. It's over. Move on. And because they get mad at me, they then change their position. I mean, this is just wild.
No, you are such a fucking moron. You guys lied. I love it. I love it. You guys lied, and now finally, okay, like, there is such a thing as double jeopardy, but there is not double jeopardy on the table for Karen Reed with witness intimidation, conspiring to commit it, or just fucking roping her up with that, just period. And that holds a heavy fucking sentence if found guilty. OJ was fucking acquitted, you dumbass. Like, I just can't even fucking fuck around with this shit.
Wild. It's like, she should do a whole thing on TBDS.
Now that Karen is guilty, then I would probably be on the anti-Karen Reed team. Right? My point is, it's not something that, like, I'm just, today should I wear my red t-shirt? Oh, tomorrow I'll wear my blue team shirt. The way he's talking, you see what I'm saying? See why I'm having such a hard time with this? Who gives a shit? You can call whatever. You can call whatever. You want to call pro Karen Reed? You can call us whatever you want. But at the end of the day, what makes me a member of this community is really one thing. I have
a member of what community? This is just true crime, period. I don't know what community. I'm not a part of any fucking community, goddammit. I'm a part of the truth. And whatever that fucking means. And if you need to hide certain facts to make your truth more fucking prominent, then you're an absolute idiot. But that's what you need to tell yourself. I don't give a fuck. Tell yourself that. But it doesn't make you right. It does not make you right. It does not make you're a moron. You have to put things in order. And if you don't understand that Arca was paid witness in both fucking trials. So what's everyone say about fucking experts? They'll say whatever the fuck you want them to say when you pay them, right? And then when you find out that they were picked to do whatever they were picked to do by who? Josh Levy and fucking Adam Deitch? To do what exactly? How did this thing ever start? It's all started in absolute shit. It's soiled in shit. But don't get it ever twisted. Do not get it ever fucking twisted that the ARC people were never, ever, ever hired to do anything other from the feds standpoint was about fucking throwing a glass and throwing it at a fucking car. That's what the fuck they were hired to do.
Deep sense of responsibility and obligation to stop the outrageous injustice that is happening in Norfolk County. That's it. And no matter how much I do or don't like Aiden Carney, that isn't going to change my opinion. Who gives a shit what he's doing?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly.
If I
exactly.
hate somebody so
How hard
much
is that? How hard is
I
that?
am prone to change my belief about whether Karen Reed is innocent or guilty, something is wrong.
Yes.
No, you're allowed to change your belief on whatever the fuck it is that we're talking about when the facts truly change. When you were fucking exposed to incorrect facts. It is not a fact that Karen... Everything crumbles. Okay? There was no 227 Google search. Get it through your fucking skulls. It never fucking happened. It is proven. Go out and read a goddamn textbook or two.
It's like something's wrong. Maybe my beliefs weren't very solid to begin with.
Yes.
Maybe I've lost touch with the reason why I was a member of that community to begin with.
Welcome to TBS. She's new to this.
That's it. That's why we're all here. Like what brought us together is a shared desire to see justice in the...
She needs to do like...
Look at this, these motherfuckers. McCausey G. Fucking idiot right there. An absolute tard.
Eat it. Chew it. Swallow it. Don't bite my finger. Ooh, be nice. Ooh, close one. Big in the duck. You like that, ducky? Take it. Take it, duck. You like that, duck? We're best friends, duck. You want more? Don't be greedy.
Currently live. It's hard to pay attention. It's... Right? Because... That's the thing. It's like... Yeah, like what public opinion polls show that 80% of people or whatever, like Melanie put a poll up, what was it, 70? That shit. Pick a case in Massachusetts and be like, we're going to cover this. It gets there, you know? So like, yeah, so Bob Motta gets it. He's got a big following, and Andrea Burkhart sees, and that's how it spreads. That's how it spreads.
What an idiot. Bob Motta was not the first person to cover Delphi. He wasn't even on fucking YouTube at the time. Get your fucking facts straight, you fucking cocksucker. You don't know shit about fucking Delphi. And get that case the fuck out of your fucking mouth. You don't know shit about that case. Richard Allen is factually innocent. Karen Reed needed a goddamn fucking PR campaign. Okay, and a lot of fucking clearly higher ups doing some shit. Fuck, anybody would get acquitted off of that. The fuck, her car is going 24 miles an hour backward. Her fucking shattered shit's all over the fucking place, right? Please. There's a fucking berm right there. John O'Keefe suffered a coup counter coup. That's why his eyes were like that. I want to fucking hear about no fucking punches. You guys were talking about his hands or whatever. They couldn't fucking pop an IV. It's all from stabbing an IV in him. Just Tardville right here. His fucking phone stops moving. The digital evidence is overwhelming against Karen Reed. The only reason she was acquitted, and the only reason I would acquit Karen Reed, is because they were able to obtain and show that the investigation was not able to be the investigation. And I personally believe that they slacked on some shit because Karen Reed's own attorney gets up and talks about the fact that she didn't do it on purpose. And that there was no criminal intent here, an element to this shit. And then I think somebody started counting on their hands how many fucking, on their fingers, how many fucking years they could still do for something that would be considered an accident. Then you start listening to her phone. Who fucking calls somebody and acts like a raging fucking lunatic on a phone like that? Every fucking minute, calling, leaving these ridiculous messages. And everybody's just great. There was no argument, no nothing, and you leave messages like that. Get the fuck out. Why would you ever leave messages like that? How many different stories are we going to have? This case got turned into a goddamn fucking circus. And it should have never been that way. John O'Keefe deserved better. And he was lost in all of this. And so this whole thing about justice for John O'Keefe and everybody fucking marching around saying that, these people used that his fucking name and faked like that's what the fuck they were out for. Meanwhile, they just fucking padded their fucking pants with money. That's the truth. Notice how this man can't talk about anything else. Because he's a one-trick pony. And I told Sherry D, I said, Will, all these fucking grifting ass motherfuckers, I said, they don't know how, they're all going to blow up each other's spot. Watch. So we'll see you in the next one, guys. Good night. I got to rest up my voice. Take it to Pound Town, though. I don't cover this case to make money because that would be, like, I don't get anybody watching. I cover this case. I cover it truthfully because it needs to be told truthfully. And I cover it because just go ahead and hashtag it. Lana's right. This dude knew shit and was withholding certain stuff to give to the community to know certain things. And he engaged in so much misconduct. And he was an errand boy. And John deserved better. He mingled in and totally fucked with a cop's murder investigation. And when the jury sees it all, yeah. Peace, brother. Peace. His lawyers are telling him right now that we are going to try to get you a deal. I don't care what anybody says. He is going to try to cut a deal. They're not even putting in motions to suppress, by the way. They're going straight to like motion and limines. And if they're able to use prior bad acts to show his intent, he is so fucked. I mean so fucked. I'm simply saying in a nice way that these are all going to be run concurrent, not consecutively, with how he would be like sentenced, and that he would be faced like he would get 20. Like let's say he got like 7 for that, 4 for this, 3 for that, all of it adds up, whatever, blah blah blah. They're all going to run concurrent at the same time, and I think those witness intimidation charges that he's facing up to 20 years per, I think hands down 3 of them are guaranteed guilties. Peace. He's so fucked and I love it. Touch your toes, bitch.